High forever. Welcome to another exciting edition of two middle-aged men talking on the internet.
Two middle-aged men who are cold, who are talking on the internet.
Texas went from being 85 degrees to like, I don't know, there's like steam coming off the grass. I don't like it. I do like that it's cold because I get to put on more sweaters and stuff.
It's 42 in Western Kentucky this morning, but the northwest wind is blowing at 30 miles per hour. So it doesn't feel like 42.
As we say around here, Burr, it's cold in here, and there must be some toros in the atmosphere. My wife said that this morning, and then she said, "What did you say?" She said something about like a boomer joke because she was saying it to her kids who don't understand it at all. Boomer parents. I am not a boomer.
Gen X.
Yeah, Gen X. That's right.
Yeah.
Good morning, Deacon. Good morning, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm JJ. That's Deacon. Hi. We are very entertaining. If you will just give us a chance or two over the next week to 2 months. Over the next week,
just a short amount of time, 6 months, 6 to 8 months, we may entertain you. I like the picture this morning. The more I'm staring at this picture of Austin Powers, the more I'm really liking it. I'm thinking Austin Powers, the new Austin Powers movie, looks really interesting. Could you throw the title card back up? If you
for sure.
There's a new Austin Powers movie coming out.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah, baby.
That's not Austin Powers. Wait, who is that, JJ? That doesn't look like Mike Myers has gone to hell.
Listen, there is no good. The only reason that is our top story of the day is because he has a very pink jacket. It's a very colorful image, and I thought, oh, this will cheer me up. This is fun.
Do you know what? Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of this. My ADHD brain is going do 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 do.
Is that a game show?
That's from freaking Austin Powers.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the freaking day.
You know, I loved the first Austin Power movies was amazing.
Oh, they were
especially the steamroller scene.
The steamroller scene. Man, that's one giant. Johnson, come here. Those were classic jokes, man.
That scene where he had the little cart parked. He was trying to do a 3-point turn, but he only had 1 inch of clearance, so it's back and forth.
They were so good. And I mean, I really, even though they recycled some jokes in the older in the later movies, Fat Bastard was one of the grandest characters of all time.
Belly.
Man, I still say that all the time.
Rest in peace to Vern Troyer. He died like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, I think. He died. You know, the little
that's right. He did die. Mini-Me.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know anything about him. I think he was kind of a jerk. So here, I think he was
a little jerk from what I read. Yeah.
That's just one. I never met him. Elton John, Deacon. I know you were probably about to book your tickets, but
I've already got them.
It's Elton John's $25 million Broadway musical that opened only 5 days ago is announcing they're closing the show.
They're going to do another show. They're opening up a whole nother.
No, they're like, oh my God, this was very expensive, and it turns out nobody wants to see a musical about Tammy Faye. Tammy Faye. Elton John made a musical about
Baker.
Yeah,
Jim Baker's wife. That wore all the makeup.
Yes.
Elton John's made a play about Tammy Faye Baker, and people went to. People will buy anything, like we said yesterday.
Well, no, actually, nobody will. Nobody will watch the play. It's the problem. The Broadway show based on the life of televangelist Tammy Faye Baker opened on November 14th. Yeah,
I mean, I'm surprised that nobody wants to watch that.
No, none of the people around him were like, Elton. Nobody. We haven't even heard of Tammy Faye Baker in 30 years. Nobody remembers who she is. Nobody
Because
cares about
these celebrities live in their own little worlds and they're
Yeah.
surrounded by yes people. Every single
Mhm.
person is a yes person. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Oh, that's great. That's what I always said about Michael Jackson. I mean, he lived that way since he was a little boy. And then he gets bigger and he's like, I want a Ferris wheel and a monkey. And they're like, oh, okay. There's not one person that could stand up. Name one person that could stand up to Elton John and say something to potentially piss that man off and incur his wrath. Would you want the wrath of somebody that powerful?
I think Michael Jackson could have done it. I think Michael Jackson could have been
But
like,
I mean, it's a kind of a, open ended, but
Yeah.
the wrath of somebody that powerful, they surround themselves with yes people.
Yeah.
So if they're like, if he's like, hey, I want to do this musical on Tammy Faye Baker and we're going to spend $25 million on it. Everybody's like, that is you are brilliant. Isn't that brilliant? That is such a great idea.
That never would have occurred to us.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Like, I don't care what he does. I'm getting my 5%.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
They live in these little worlds.
Now I have a question for you, but I'm going to get to it in a second. It quickly failed to fill audience capacity. In the week ending 17 November, it drew 374,000 with an overall attendance of just 5,000 people. That's a 63% capacity. Its final performance will be on December 8th after 24 previews and 29 regular performances. The New York Post called it a disaster of biblical proportions. Variety wrote this, quote, Tammy finally comes to terms with her all too mortal sins and sees the light of a presumably forgiving God. Audiences may not be so charitably inclined. That's high-minded. That's high-minded think. Some witty writer thought they were really clever with that. Let's see. So here's my question, Deke. Okay, so obviously a musical about Tammy Faye Baker that didn't pan out, but Deke, let's put on our creative hats. Let's spitball a musical right now. We obviously have so much experience in this category. This is something that we
wait a minute. Let me just throw this out here first.
Okay,
first thing that I'm thinking of, instead of a musical, we can stay in the same, the same area. Okay, we're gonna stay in the same area.
A Broadway show?
No, the same Baker, Jim Baker.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let's use Jim Baker as we're going to stay in that same area, but we're going to shift from Tammy Faye to Tawny Katane. Would you watch a musical called Tawny?
Huh? I don't know who that is. No,
you don't know who Tawny Katane is? Oh,
no.
hang on. Tawney. Tawny. I don't know how to spell her last name. Tawny Katane. Kitean. Yes, Tawny Katane. You let me refresh your memory. Make me a moderator. Am I a moderator? Let me refresh your memory here. On
now,
who
I'm not with
Katane
this, so
is.
I don't know. Here. Boop,
so Tawny Katane. Do you remember? She doesn't look the same anymore. Oh, goodness gracious. No, she don't. So do you remember that White Snake song? Oh, there was a picture of her. There he is. Here I go again on my own. Going down the only road I ever know.
I remember that song.
Okay, you would if you heard it, not my terrible singing voice. But she was a Tawny Katane was a video girl back in the 80s. Okay, there's a picture of her in the 80s, and she was the girl in that Major White Snake video at the time. I think she dated what's his name from White Snake, but she was the secretary that Jim Baker messed around with. Tawny Katane.
Okay.
I figured you would know who that was.
I don't know who that is. This is what I'm saying. Nobody cares about that. No.
I'm saying that would be a more interesting story than Tammy Faye.
If this were 1992, this musical might be something. But that was 30 years ago. Those people, a lot of those people are dead.
We're talking about 1986,
maybe 40 years ago. I don't know. A long time ago. Nobody cares. That's the problem with that.
Taking up too much time on this anyway.
No, I want to pitch a different idea.
Go your idea, and then let's move on.
Well, my idea is not better. Although your idea wasn't better either. you know what, Elton John, you have a lot of our forgiveness. Because we can
Tony Katane would be better than Tammy Faye Baker.
I think
Here, hang on.
a Hamilton style musical, but very colorful, about the rise of the 21st century presidents from from Bill Clinton through George Bush to Barack Obama, and just how they just killed everybody. They just did everything they could to start wars. And then at the end, the golden age comes with Donald Trump defeating his foes in a great third act.
Okay.
That's what I would
So
want.
you don't think a play about Tawny Katane here would be better than a play about Tammy Faye?
Well, neither of these women are attractive to me. She looks like she has a potted plant for a head, so I don't know.
Gosh, did you see this new? I mean, did you see what Tawny Katane looked like today? This guy, I didn't know this because I hadn't looked her up in 40 years or whatever.
Well, okay. Hey, look, some people invest in gold and silver. Some people invest in plastic, silicon.
Some people invest in their afterlife, or try to at least. I have, I don't know if you want to do it now. I'll let you go through some of your stuff that you've got, but I have 10 shocking stories that the media has buried this week, and we can go through them very quickly.
I got one. I got a couple of entertainment things. So do you want to do those and then do entertainment? Or...
Yeah. Let's go through all this political stuff, and then we'll get entertainment.
I like these top 10 countdowns.
Yeah, these are pretty good.
We didn't even have our banner up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm not
coming from on X. It comes from the Vigilant Fox, at Vigilant Fox, and I look at their website, and some of these stories are coming from their website. So, number 10. Before we read number 10 here, I'd like to talk to all of you folks that are exclusively viewing us on YouTube. You may want to switch over to Rumble. YouTube might cut us from reading this first story. I'm just warning you now.
This is not opinions of the show.
This is not opinions. This is a
somebody
story.
wrote something on the internet, and we're doing a story about somebody else writing something on the internet.
Yes, this is actually coming from Peter McCullough, ND, MD. So one of the most vaxxed counties in America faces a heart attack crisis. 98% of people in King County, Washington, Seattle, took at least one COVID shot. A peer-reviewed study has found that a jaw-dropping 1,236% surge in excess heart attack deaths among Kings County's 2.2 million residents. So in 2020, 11 excess heart attack deaths. 2021, 75. 22, 111. 2023, 147. Cardiac arrest deaths in general rose about 25% from 2020 to 2023. In the same time frame, King County's population shrunk slightly. And then Dr. Peter McCullough here says you can read what he says. And they are doing they talk about it here for a minute and a half, but I'm not going to play it because we're already.
So a remarkable coincidence that we had COVID and vaccines and not scientifically related. There also seem to be a hell of a lot of heart attacks.
I don't know. Maybe it's very stressful up.
Could it be? It could be that the COVID
weather. It could be the climate change that's causing people to be stressed and have heart attacks.
You know what? Probably
it might be climate change.
Is probably involved.
It probably is.
Which obviously leads to a racist reaction, and then you have the heart attack.
You've nailed it. You got it. All right, number 9. CNN's Ellie Honig, I don't care if it's right or not, says there's a real possibility that a judge could imminently close Trump's New York case. It sounded like they tended to view it in the way that Donald Trump's team views it, which is because he's the president-elect. It's now over. But we'll see for sure where the DA stands.
Also, it was a fake case to begin with.
Yeah.
It was always fake cases. Losers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't even play this crap because me and it was fake to start with, and they're just playing CYA here to try to keep their jobs for another Donald 4 years.
Like, which case is it? Is it the the taxes, the fake taxes case that they literally misinterpreted the law. No, don't play that.
Could
Play
be.
this.
So
Come out 100 times.
today,
I don't want to play it.
Yeah, don't play that.
All right.
Fake
Number
case.
number 8, CNN shockingly admits that Musk's X now represents U.S. voters far better than ever before. All right.
Yeah.
This is a short minute
5%
long
of
clip.
those.
Let's just listen to what old dude has to say here.
So one of the big reasons he bought Twitter/X is because he wanted to make it his own platform, remake it in his own image. And I think this really gets at it. Look at this. The party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X for news were Democrats. Just 31% were Republicans. Look at where we are today. Just a completely different picture.
Sorry.
Now it's basically.
Yeah. That was because the Democrats that were running Twitter kept banning Republicans.
Yep.
They kept banning us.
Yep.
Okay,
You're
go
exactly
on.
right. All right, so moving to number 7, over in France, they are dumping food. Yes, this dude is not.
Holy
That's
hell.
a straight up American move right there, too. You got to respect that. Just here you go in your fancy pants. You know, let me just say this.
Hold on. Stay on this for a second because I saw another one. I'm gonna pull it up because I saw it a couple days ago, but I forgot to bring it up. But go on. Get with your thought.
I was just going to say this. As a student of history for a long time, the French people have a long history of really not liking the rich people. If you're rich and flaunt it, the commoner, normal, middle-class French people, they don't like that so much. And so there's all these stories throughout history that you could go and revisit yourself if you want to.
So I'm gonna share this for just a moment. I saw this a couple days ago, and this stuff slides right through my timeline, and I forget to grab it for news stories. Check this out. This is a French McDonald's, and the farmers are like, yeah. So
that is so what they're rolling in for you city folks that may not know, that is probably hay. And that's probably, it looks to be moldy hay. Moldy hay. Straw does not mold. I just recently found this out. But hay does, and it's very bad. Moldy hay is. Yeah.
These guys are not happy. And they just don't even care. They're just like, whatever. What are you going to do?
Okay.
Jail?
I don't know what the French farmer protest is for. The specific laws and stuff.
That's a good point. Let's find out. Go ahead.
Okay.
You
go.
Yeah. I'll look it up. Let me look it up.
Look it up, and I'll keep going here because
are the French farmers mad right now, bro?
Do you talk to AI like bro? I'm like, please, thank you, servant master.
My daughters have, I don't know where they get this from because I don't actually say bro, but my daughters will say stuff to me and call me bro. And I'm like, what are you talking about? French farmers are currently protesting due to this list of grievances. EU agricultural policies. Farmers are upset that the EU policies that are related to environmental regulations and the Green New Deal, low farm incomes. There's a lot of discontent over the financial viability of farmers, with farmers facing declining incomes due to low farm gate prices and high operational costs. Bureaucracy and regulations, that makes sense. Trade deals. The proposed EU Mercosur trade deal has been a significant point of contention. Farmers fear it will lead to an influx of cheaper ag products from South America. And then there's public government support and environment and climate policy. So, of course, the bureaucrats have made farmers mad.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right. Going to number 6 here, and this one's a pretty good one. it's pretty long. But General Flynn here has made a statement, and it's pretty scary. Let me just say, so General Flynn says today the world is likely closer to nuclear war than at any time since the Cuban Missile Crisis. If you don't know about the Cuban Missile Crisis, Russia wanted to put missiles in Cuba, and we wanted to go to war with Cuba, and JFK did not. He saved us from going to war with Cuba, and we all know what happened to JFK.
Khrushchev in Russia did not want to go to war with Cuba.
He did not want to go to war. The black ops, the giant squid monster wanted to go to war, and they didn't want to go to war. And JFK saved us from a war in the 60s. Yeah. He really did. If you look, he really did.
He took
and then look what happened to JFK. And then what happened? Look at your timeline, your historical timeline. JFK saved us from war and did not want to go to war. And then he was assassinated. And then his predecessor, what is the first thing Johnson did? Took us to war.
Right into war. Let's get into another
war. General Flynn is warning us here, and he lists these 5 things that we should do. And he's like, first, Vice President Harris and the Biden cabinet must invoke the 25th Amendment and remove Biden as president. Biden is sleepwalking us into a hot war with Russia without a congressional declaration of war. If he lives past January 20th, Biden will take the position he took with special counsel Hur, who 9 months ago declared Biden could not be held responsible for crimes as he was an old man with poor memory. It's past time to put Kamala in the Oval Office. Then we will know the name of the person in charge, someone who was actually elected to office, and she would be the person who could be held accountable for what disaster might befall the nation, as she would be the person who could be bearing that type of responsibility might force Harris to act responsibly. No longer would decisions be made by unknown and unidentified deep state operatives who would scatter like roaches should a crisis occur. He goes on to say,
they'll never do that, though. They're cowards. They'll never do that.
He goes on to give, we hope Democrats will act to the duty. It also falls on the current House of Representatives to impeach Biden now for endangering the nation by taking steps that constitute acts of war without a declaration of war, a power the Constitution gives only to Congress. The indictment should then go immediately to the Senate for trial and removal. President Trump was impeached after he supposedly lost the 2020 election. What's good for the goose? Third, the incoming officials in the Trump administration need to make contact with Putin and his staff to de-escalate the situation as best that can be done. And then he goes on. Fourth, the Trump administration and incoming Attorney General Matt Gaetz need to make it clear that the identities of those deep state operatives exercising the powers of the presidency, now urging Biden to act recklessly, will be held accountable personally, not just politically, but legally. If these operatives knew that they would be named and the subject to prosecution, they just might straighten up real quick. And then fifth, we need to pray that we have time for the will of the voters to take effect on January 20th. Just 2 weeks ago, on November 5th, the voters spoke on the greatest issue of war with great clarity. President Trump received a clear mandate from his promise to end the killing in Ukraine and seeking peace. America has not seen that type of leadership since President Kennedy's commencement speech at the American University, and they voted for it overwhelmingly. There was a line in here that really got me. Okay, so he says, President Putin made clear in September how he would view this development. Aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear state, but with the support of a nuclear state, is proposed to be considered as the joint attack on Russia. He added, Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression, including if the enemy using conventional weapons poses a critical threat. General Flynn says, do not take these words lightly. If Russia had announced it had provided missiles to Mexico and authorized their use to attack Americans living in San Diego, Los Angeles, Tucson, Phoenix, El Paso, and Corpus Christi, what would you expect the U.S. government to do? Very, very, very concerning.
On this note, I saw an interview with Zelensky on Fox News yesterday, And when he was asked, like, aren't you concerned that some of this stuff that you're doing, like launching ballistic missiles into Russia, is going to aggravate and cause World War III? The answer of the president of Ukraine, who's at war with Russia, was, well, look, Russia has already got North Korean troops in this war. So multiple countries are now, another country is already in this. So maybe we're already in World War III. So the guy that the U.S. is backing, his attitude is like, we're already in World War III. So like,
and this guy was
this
guy, General Flynn, was a former, he was a U.S. security advisor. And that is the guy that tells the president, we're in some deep doo-doo here. He's not just some army guy. Michael Flynn.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, the Biden-Harris administration helped Laken Riley's killer move to Georgia. A taxpayer-funded initiative by the Biden-Harris regime facilitated the transit of a known gang member, leading directly to the murder of the Laken Riley, according to courtroom testimony of the suspect's roommate during the second trial. So we all know about Laken Riley, and that guy was found guilty with no chance of parole, life in prison. I don't want to pay for this guy for the rest of my life.
I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're exactly right. So our buddy here.
Can I just say this? I saw a video of Laken Riley when she was alive. A compilation video of a couple scenes of that kid. She was a child.
She was a kid,
very young kid. So I have no sympathy at all for that dude.
This girl was more than half of our. We're more than half. Oh, this could have been our daughter.
Twice as old as her.
Yeah, this could have been our daughter.
Easily.
So Vivek says that the Doge will delete entire government agencies.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
that's the big. See, I'm thinking like that's the big ask. You start with the big ask, and then you negotiate down to a kind of a lot of. So we'll see.
You're right.
Prove it, Vivek and Elon. I want to see it happen.
So far, so good, but we hadn't got to do anything yet. But the words are sounding pretty. The words are looking pretty. All right, the senators who will vote on RFK Jr. Well, they've raked in millions from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh my.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada was the highest recipient of pharmaceutical money among Democrats on the committee. She got nearly $460,000 over the last 5 years, followed by New Hampshire's Maggie Hassan, who got more than $360,000 from the pharmaceutical industry, and Ron Wyden from Oregon, who got $352,000. On the Republican side, we've got some as well. Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina benefited the most of all members of the Finance Committee, with more than $679,000 in pharmaceutical company contributions. Bill Cassidy of Louisiana had 667, and Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina came in with 564. I just like to point out right here, just blatant as anything, that sexism in the workplace is not, it happens in Congress too, and the senators, because look, Senator Catholic, she was the highest recipient with 460, but her male counterpart got 679,000.
Yeah. Right.
It's right there in black and white, people. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the people that's going to be, and they're in the pharmaceutical companies' pockets.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to vote. And I like Tim Scott. I couldn't say much about the other two guys. I like Tim Scott, but we will see. Look, the American people want RFK up in government kicking shit over. We want to stop having seed oils. We want to stop being poisoned by plastic. We want to stop being poisoned by our entire food supply. We want to stop whatever's suppressing our testosterone in boys and causing mental health illnesses in.
There's something that I was going to bring up with you a couple of times when we've talked about this, and it's made me think of it again. When you're saying we want all this stuff out, let me add one. We want chicken breasts without antibiotics in them. Okay. I understand that this chicken breast that I'm buying at the store is twice the size of my fist. It is a huge chicken breast. That's not natural. Okay. And so what we found out, my youngest daughter is 13, 12, 13, 12. And what we found out years ago from a doctor, from concerns that she was so young and she was starting to develop a little bit. And the doctor was like, well, certain studies have shown that these antibiotics that they put into these chickens are affecting humans. And they think that some of these girls, the antibiotic is affecting them in a very minute way.
Certainly possible.
Yeah. So yeah, I want that crap gone.
It's not just that. I mean, there's all kinds of
stuff.
Human, I mean, I don't really want to get into it, but the drugs that we take go into our bodies and then out of our bodies and into the water supply. And are you 100% that shit gets filtered out?
Let me give it to you an easy way that my simple farmer dad, said to me one time. And he was born in the early 50s. He said, Bub, back then, the farmer would go out into his field every day. Now, the farmer sprays the crop at the beginning of the harvest, and that's it. He never goes back out there. He said, and you wonder why everybody's got cancer now. That stuff goes in and we eat it. It goes into the plants and it goes into the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's come from my dad.
I don't know. I don't know anything about farming, but I also don't think that bureaucrats know anything about farming.
Don't argue with a farmer about 99% of farmers are emboldened to the pharmaceutical companies.
I like the idea that one of RFK's chief assistants is going to be like this famous regenerative farmer that like the most famous farmer, I think, in America. I don't know him. I'm not a farmer, but I like the idea that we're going to have a very like organic, natural guy that's get in there and rejuvenate our soil and hopefully do something about the fact that all of these mega corporations own all the farmland and they just do what you're saying, spray that shit with chemicals. They don't care.
Yeah,
profits. Yeah. That's all they care about.
Start looking at people that have lived next to and I've heard this all the time. There was somebody not too long ago that was like, we used to live, the little house surrounded by fields and stuff. And her son had all kinds of allergies and all this whatever infection and this rash. And it come from the stuff that they're spraying on the field. Anyway, let's move on real quick. Number two, multiple DOJ, FBI officials weigh lawyering up in fear of being criminally investigated. Some career Justice Department officials, they say, cried after Trump won the election, according to the report, due to the realization that Trump would likely try to rid the administrative state of a cesspool of corruption. This comes from Breitbart.com. You can read it over there. The last one here is Representative or Speaker Mike Johnson. All right.
Yeah, Big Johnson right there.
Big Mike, Big Johnson. And let me tell you, Big Johnson is going to lay it out for everybody to see right here.
Slap it down, Johnny.
I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman. And a man cannot become a woman.
He just got banned on Blue Sky.
I also believe
right now.
That's what Scripture teaches, what I just said. But I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions. But that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life. And
what's that about, Deacon? What's that about?
There's a transgender person now that is demanding bathroom privileges in the freaking White House. We're not fixing to go, or in the Capitol building. We're not fixing to go to war.
To go piss in the women's restrooms.
Yeah, and you know what? And I agree with Mike Johnson there on everything he says. We'll give you respect. Or how did he say that? He said it.
I believe that we treat everybody with dignity.
Let her go out there.
Dignity. Yeah, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
we'll be as kind to you as possible, but you have a mental disorder. As
Yeah.
eloquent as you may think and you may sound, I believe
Right.
you have a mental disorder. All right. So we're
Yeah.
probably definitely kicked off YouTube now.
Yeah.
I didn't
It-
have
it-
I
Trans
didn't have anything.
ideology is mental illness. It is mental illness. I got some cool stuff. Actually, I got a Congress related story. Do you remember Rep Jamal Bowman, aka Fire Alarm?
Fire Alarm Bowman? Oh,
Fire
Fire
Alarm
Alarm
Bowman.
Bowman. Yeah.
So I got a couple of pieces of news about this. Well, first of all, if you weren't watching the race, he did not win. He did not win his re-election bid. Oh, it's very sad. I'm sorry, Rep Jamal Bowman. But that's
Did they have, I mean, at one of the voting precincts, was there an emergency where an alarm was pulled? Maybe that kept people from voting.
I don't know. It's possible. But that's not what he's upset about. What he's upset about is this. Democrat Rep Jamal Bowman.
Mhm.
Hold on. Is this, can I? Yeah, here, let me share this. I'm I didn't realize he was so passionate about this. Demands. It's a very strong word right there, demands. A black Jedi lead character in the next Star Wars movie. This is the hill that he dies on.
Bitch, Jamal, let me tell you something, brother. Have you ever heard of Mace Windu, the baddest Jedi ever?
No shit. His
The man
lightsaber
that-
said bad
Mace
motherfucker.
Windu, as much as I don't like Samuel L. Jackson anymore, Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson called George Lucas and was like, dude, can I just be a stormtrooper? I love Star Wars so much. I just want to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And George Lucas was like, really? Hang on.
No, why
And
not?
George
That's
Lucas completely invented a part, the character of Mace Windu, based on Samuel L. Jackson wanting to be in the movie. All right.
And he was and Sam was like, can we make this lightsaber purple? Sure, why not?
Mace had the only purple lightsaber. It was a special kyber crystal, and Mace was the master of I think it was the 7th Jedi fighting style, which
Okay.
not very many people were the
know.
master of, but this is where I get into my nerdy stuff. The
nerdy.
7th Jedi fighting style, Mace's fighting style was more Sith-like with his
Did he hold his
movements.
lightsaber sideways?
Yes, he was more Sith-like with his movements, and that was like that's why they did. A lot of them didn't learn that, and he was a master of that. Yoda had a different. If you look into the different fighting styles and then start watching, you're like, whoa, these people are bigger nerds than me ever. I mean, it's really interesting.
Well,
So
let me just go through this a little quickly
yeah.
here.
Why is he so mad about it?
Right. He said, if the lead Jedi is not a black man, I ain't messing with y'all. Y'all not about to make 12 Star Wars and have all white leads for all 12. Y'all wilding with that. And I hate to say that I would not watch and spend the rest of my days denouncing this franchise I have loved. Hold on. Let's jump out. Come on. Let me get out to the rest of his statement. I want to give him all of his due. I have loved forever. The new Jedi Order better be multicultural with a black super powerful lead. We ain't playing y'all.
Bitch,
So,
Yoda is a little green thing. Come on.
I don't know.
For real?
I don't know. However, you know what? I do have this. Let's see. Let me pull this down for a second because I had to pull this up. There was oh my, that's the wrong screen. My bad. Hey John. What's up, John? So Star Wars is a Disney property, as you are aware. And Disney also owns Marvel. And Marvel has Disney has a channel banner for their Marvel on their Disney Plus app, you know? So if you go to the Marvel
I don't know.
You don't
I
know.
personally don't know.
Yeah, okay, you don't know. So so if you go to Disney app, they have Star Wars, Marvel, National Geographic.
Right, they got them all categorized.
Whatever. In the Marvel section, they have a Marvel banner. And in the Marvel section banner, Disney has removed a woman of color. They edited her out. Yeah, it just happened. Here we go, Deke. Previously, the Marvel banner had She-Hulk in the top right corner, and they just went and deleted her and put Deadpool
right
in.
before my brain right before I just want to tell you, right before you put that picture up, my brain milliseconds before went Nebula, Gamora. He said woman of color. It has to be Nebula or Gamora. And it's She-Hulk.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did
right.
this. It's not real super clear.
Well, because Deadpool and Wolverine are
of
now
course.
on, and She-Hulk is the least
think that
appealing
starts
one
today,
there
sure.
in terms of ratings. So we've got to make it more.
Mhm.
Since we're on entertainment, I have
Yeah.
some very, very heartbreaking news and sad news for
Okay.
everyone watching
Oh,
today.
no.
I'm a little worried about your state of mind. I almost didn't put this story in here because I'm like, this could spiral JJ down to the point of depression.
Okay, I'm ready. I take deep breaths. Let's go.
Ellen DeGeneres has fled to the UK and is never coming back to the United States. Trump's win.
No. Really? I like that guy. Oh.
There might be
She's-
another reason for Ellen leaving. But look at all these people that got the
what would be another reason that explains Ellen fleeing the United States now that Trump is ascending to power once again? Is there any
the other reason could be not having anything to do with politics or political, but maybe having to do with a story that was a big story a couple of months ago on the entertainment side that has kind of done what everything does in the United States. It's just kind of fallen to the back. Every day it moves a couple of stories to the back and a couple of stories to the back before eventually us goldfish Americans completely forget that Diddy is still in jail and all of these entertainment people are not in the country. Start looking at where all of these huge famous entertainment people are. Oh, I'm at a retreat at my villa in Italy for 6 months. Oh, I'm over here in Switzerland at my house for 11. All these countries that have these weird extradition rules is where they have these houses. You notice, has there been any major movies come out in the past 2 months? Any major films that they've been just promoting or anything with major stars? Absolutely not. But they want you to look over here at the dancing Trump spinning around while all these stars are moving the elephant in the background. And then they're going, oh, Trump won and I'm never coming back. Sayonara. Don't ever come back, Ellen. We don't want you here.
Burn your passport, renounce your citizenship. Nobody gives a shit.
We don't care.
All of you people. Nobody cares. Look, we are our own entertainment now. We don't need you anymore. Deacon and I are the majority of our entertainment is literally getting up in the morning and just talking about whatever we find on the internet. There's not a TV show that I watch that's more fun than this.
No. I mean, you know what
we don't need you.
You know what I put in the background for my ADHD brain is I put on some repetitive sitcom that I've seen a billion times. Seinfeld or Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Parks and Rec or The Office or something like that. And it's just noise to me. When I actually want to sit down, me and Ashley hadn't watched a movie in a long time. We've been so busy. But I've been rewatching old stuff and stuff that I'd never watched before, like The Walking Dead. I never watched all of The Walking Dead. I was like, oh, it's all here. Let me just watch it.
I urge you to quit out before it gets too bad.
Oh no, let me tell you, the little girls and they all just saw the sign in a couple of episodes back that said, "Oh, we're safe. Look, this place says Terminus," and I was like, "No, don't go there."
It's literally a sign that says, "This is the end of the line. The end of the line for you."
Terminus means the end.
Yeah, this is stop. It is you all done.
So you had another entertainment. Yeah, you got another entertainment story. I'm kind of excited about this one.
Okay,
I've said this a bunch that this was a great franchise that was never expanded on. This would have been a great RPG.
It was expanded on, but it wasn't expanded on greatly. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. So you're talking about what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When I was in the Army in 1997,
Were you in the Starship Troopers in the Army?
No. When I watched
Well,
it.
if you were, you couldn't
it.
talk about it, so I understand. Give me a wink. Were you really?
In 1997, when movies were still good, we had Starship Troopers, and it was amazing. You cannot show this movie to your kids.
You can't show the movie to your kids because it's got boobs in it.
Boobies.
You forget that part. All
There
these
are
great
boobies.
movies, let me tell you, from two
it's
dads.
It's not just a scene of boobies. It is all the Starship Troopers are taking a shower at the same time.
All together.
It's
you forget
all the
about that
boobies.
part. Yeah. Let me tell you, as dad advice here, real quick, before we start talking about Starship Troopers. Dad advice. This has happened to us a couple of times when we're like, "Oh, the kids are here. Let's pick a movie." And I'm like, "Oh, this was the movie Jack with Robin Williams, where he's the 40-year-old, like 12-year-old boy." And I'm like,
That
"Oh,
seems
this was a
harmless.
cute movie." Well, they start talking about pornography and Playboys and all this stuff. And Ashley's like looking at me, and I'm like, and then afterwards she's like, "That's the last time you get to pick a movie." I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I'm not picking movies anymore."
Listen,
that was my bad.
my brain remembers all the great parts.
Yeah.
I forgot a couple of little things.
So don't show Starship Troopers to your kids. There is
show them
boobs
that.
in the movie. Yes.
No, but it's an amazing movie.
It's a great
And
movie.
yeah. Starship Troopers, Casper Van Dien, the star, Rico himself of the Starship Troopers, says the franchise should be revived as a TV series.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm getting very strong like Starbuck vibes, because when Battlestar Galactica was being kind of reinvented in the early 2000s, the classic Starbuck was all the guy that played the Starbuck was like, no, it was Richard. What was his name? Richard. Well, anyway, he's one of the stars from the 70s star. He was like trying to make Battlestar Galactica happen for like ever, because he wanted to be the star. And then the network bought it up, and they're like, "We are going to make Battlestar Galactica, but you're not the star. You're not.
Dirk Benedict from the A-Team.
That was Starbuck, but the other guy was Richard. His name's Richard. Who the other guy? That guy did anyway. So Casper Van Dien now.
Richard Hatch.
Maybe Richard Hatch. Richard Hatch was constantly on the let's revive Battlestar Galactica. Maybe Casper Van Dien has a lucrative career that I'm unaware of, but I know him from Starship Troopers and nothing else. I've never seen him in everything else. I'm sorry.
Casper Van Dien.
So, and look, he wasn't bad. He was great in the movie, but I've never seen him in anything else of consequence. So he played Johnny Rico in the original
He's
Starship
been in
Troopers,
all the Starship Troopers, and then he was in Sleepy Hollow. And then he's just been in a bunch of other little like straight to video films.
So of course, he has an interest in like
hey, it pays the bills.
For real. So Casper Van Dien is out there. He had a quote here. I think it would be great for the series. The whole thing would work. That is, bring back Starship Troopers as a TV show. Revitalize it, revive it as a TV show.
Like
the visual
Netflix
effects
or something. Yeah.
Prime. Which, you know what? I'm not even against this idea. I love Starship Troopers. And let me just say, the book is nothing like the movie. The movie was its own complete original thing, which was so fascinating, especially the concept of like a Republican government. You have to serve in order to get your citizenship. And it was so fun. It was a great movie.
So what you do is you take the book and you take the movie. And I don't know about the other movies. I've never seen them, but you tell it from there. Okay. You maybe take his Casper Van Dien's character. What was his character's name in this?
Johnny Rico.
Yeah. Johnny Rico. Maybe he's General Rico now, and you've got stories of all the other, you don't focus on him and those characters. You're focusing on new characters. And the new people, because the battle's still going, and maybe something's happened in the last 20 years that we're like, ooh, this is a new development that happened that they've been dealing with for 10 years. It's brilliant. I would watch every episode of this.
There are at least two sequels, 2 film sequels. There's Starship Marauders, and there's another Starship. Yeah, there are at least 2 animated movies. I don't know how much else they've done, kind of all in the same universe as this Starship Troopers movie, but none of them have ever like really worked. Not really, or you would have heard about them. So they need to completely reimagine Starship Troopers again. They just need to wipe the deck and start over. But it can be an amazing, amazing franchise. And that means, I'm sorry, we don't bring the old cast back, or you come back as a cameo as some other character, but you're not the lead. But I mean, I'm totally down for Starship Troopers being reimagined.
So, Yellow Oboe on Reddit says, because I asked the question, watch order, Starship Troopers watch order, and then there was somebody that said this, and this is the response. 1 is great, 2 is okay, 3 is a dumpster fire. Only real relevant plot here is at the introduction of the Q-bomb, which will appear in the animated series. The animated series kind of follow each other. Invasion before Traitor of Mars, order-wise. Personally, I'd say watch 1 and 2 and the animated ones. 3 is hot garbage and hardly brings anything to the table. Watch it after 2 if you want a full viewing of the series, but otherwise feel free to skip. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not good. That's not a good endorsement.
No. No.
But it should not be a cartoon. I don't want to see a cartoon. I want to see real
I want to see
military TAC Gil. I want to see real. I'm not interested in watching anime.
I remember having a conversation with my my nerd D&D geek buddies one time about this and how fun it would be to have a D&D world. You know, you could probably make one with AI. I could probably make one very easily now, but a D&D world where that's what you are. You know, you the players are on doing this. I think it'd be fun. This is a great idea for a TV show. I'd watch it.
Man, I mean, look, I love Casper Van Dien. I just want, if you want the series to be a success, scrub the deck, start again, and do the military propagandistic thing. I think that was great. Bring in the original director as a major producer. I mean, do that. Okay, so that's my fun story for the day. Deke, it is 8:52, sir.
I have one more, but this is not really a story. This was just a video clip. I should have brought this up back when we were talking politics, really. Because Trump's been naming all these people that he wants in his cabinet.
Yeah.
And his next Department of Education secretary, this woman named Linda McMahon, she has been in some tussles in the past with some
you did
political.
This yesterday.
No, but she's been some tussles with some past and with some political people as well, because she's ran for Senate a couple of times and didn't win. But she's also had some tussling with people in Tennessee. This is just 22 seconds long, but this is the next Department of Education secretary, Linda McMahon, and the next governor of governor of Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs. All right, this is one of the tussles that they have had in the past. Sorry, I'm having to click a million buttons. Come on. I mean, it just gets nasty.
Oh my God.
The governor there just, God almighty.
So he took all that weight on his knees.
Yeah, no, that's well, she's an old woman. They had her wear a pantsuit because she's going to be, but look, you know, that's every one of those tombstones are like that. Boom. Yeah. See, her head never hits the ground. That's Kane. That's Glenn Jacobs. He is now I used to beat up people for a living. Now I protect their freedom. He's the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
That's awesome.
Glenn Jacobs. Yeah. He is a really interesting guy to listen to now. And thinking that his character was this dumb mute character. If you really, I love listening to The Undertaker, his podcast and stuff now, because he stayed in that character forever, for like 40 years. Every time he was in the public, he was in that character. You never seen him out of that character. And now that he's no longer The Undertaker, he talks about it, you know, and it's really interesting, man.
I mean,
to listen to him.
Commit to the bit. You commit to the bit.
One of the best of all time.
All right, I got one more story, Deke. It's a
Okay.
short one though. I don't have it pulled up, but you just have to go with it. A man was caught stealing a supermarket. Caught stealing at a supermarket today, while he balanced on the shoulders of two vampires, and he was charged with 2 counts.
Are y'all done? 2 windmills are sitting on a hill,
Mhm.
and one asks the other one, "What's your favorite song?" And the other replies, "Well, I don't know, but I've always been a big heavy metal fan." That's weird. You muted your mic, so you laughed, but it was them in the background, so it looked like it was coming out of your mouth. That was weird.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teeth. Ask Nate for a comment, he said no. Watch now, the Internet Dad Show. Subscribe quick, the Squid Monster's on the way. Inspire with us, tomorrow's news today. Oh yeah.